Welcome to the channel Reflections of Time.
In this episode, we will follow the rise of a civilization that inspired awe and fear alike throughout history. Rome, known as the Eternal City, was not only an empire of armies but also a builder of law, roads, cities, and enduring ideas. It began as a small village and grew into a force that shaped the Western world. From military formations to marble forums, from legal codes to aqueducts, from myths to empires, Rome's legacy is written not just in stone, but in the structure of modern life. Do not forget to subscribe and like the video. Now, let us walk together through Roman arches, listen to the footsteps of legions, and enter the halls where decisions changed the course of history.
Romulus and Remus, a city founded in legend.
The story of Rome's foundation lies somewhere between myth and memory. According to legend, twin brothers Romulus and Remus, descendants of royal blood from Alba Longa, were abandoned on the banks of the Tiber River. A she-wolf found and nursed them, keeping them alive. When they grew up, they decided to found a city. But this dream ended in blood. Romulus killed Remus and named the new city after himself. This myth is more than a founding tale. It reflects Roman values: power over sentiment, ambition over brotherhood, sacrifice over peace. Archaeological evidence confirms that by the 8th century before the Common Era, small villages existed along the banks of the Tiber. These settlements eventually merged, forming what would become the earliest version of Rome.
From monarchy to republic, the rise of a balanced government.
Rome was initially ruled by kings. From the 7th century before the Common Era onward, various monarchs governed the city, including its final ruler, Tarquinius Superbus. His harsh rule caused widespread unrest. Eventually, the monarchy was overthrown, and Rome transitioned to a new system, the Republic. The Roman Republic was a complex and carefully balanced structure. Power was divided among institutions to prevent tyranny. The Senate, composed of experienced aristocrats, advised and influenced legislation. 2 consuls were elected annually to lead the state together. The popular assemblies allowed citizens to vote on laws and elect officials. But this balance was not free of conflict. The patricians, the noble class, held most of the power, while the plebeians, the common citizens, struggled for political equality. Over time, the plebeians gained the right to elect tribunes to defend their interests and gradually expanded their role in governance. The Republic laid the groundwork for Rome's military, political, and cultural foundations. This was the era when Rome became not just a city, but a state.
The Punic Wars, Rome's path to Mediterranean dominance.
Rome's true expansion began with the Punic Wars against Carthage, a powerful and wealthy Phoenician colony located in present-day Tunisia. These wars were fought not just for land, but for control of the Mediterranean Sea. The Second Punic War, in particular, was among the most famous military campaigns in ancient history. The Carthaginian general Hannibal led an army, including war elephants, across the Alps into Italy. He defeated Roman forces multiple times on their own soil. However, Rome's endurance, strategic alliances, and long-term planning led to eventual victory. In time, Carthage was destroyed, and Rome claimed dominance over the Western Mediterranean. From that point forward, Rome was no longer a regional power. It had become the central force in the ancient world.
Julius Caesar and the fall of the Republic.
Although Rome had emerged victorious in the Punic Wars and had expanded its territories greatly, internal stability proved elusive. As the Republic grew, so did inequality. Land and wealth accumulated in the hands of the elite, while small farmers lost their property and moved to the cities in search of work. Military generals like Marius, Sulla, and eventually Gaius Julius Caesar began to gain unprecedented power and influence. Julius Caesar, through his military campaigns in Gaul, modern-day France, became a celebrated figure among the people and a threat to the Senate's authority. His popularity, ambition, and reforms alarmed the Senate. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army, it was a declaration of civil war. After a series of battles, he emerged victorious and was declared dictator for life. But this concentration of power shattered the fragile republican balance. In the year 44 before the Common Era, a group of senators, believing they were saving the Republic, assassinated Caesar on the Ides of March. Instead of restoring the Republic, his death led to even more chaos. Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, eventually rose to power, defeating rivals like Mark Antony and becoming Rome's first emperor under the name Augustus. The Republic had ended, not with a vote, but with a sword.
Pax Romana, the golden age of the empire.
Under Augustus, the Roman Empire entered a period of unprecedented peace and stability, known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. For nearly 200 years, the empire experienced a level of order, prosperity, and security unmatched in its history. At its height, the Roman Empire stretched across 3 continents, from the British Isles in the northwest to Mesopotamia in the east, from the forests of Germany to the deserts of North Africa. Citizenship became a prized status, and Roman law unified diverse peoples under a common legal framework. Latin and Greek served as official languages of administration and education. Trade routes flourished, architecture soared, and public works transformed cities. The empire was no longer held together merely by force, but by a shared sense of civilization and order. The Colosseum, aqueducts, forums, temples, and libraries stood as testaments to Rome's engineering and cultural vision. Roman legions maintained peace and security, not only through strength, but also by building infrastructure and integrating local populations.
Roman engineering, civilization in stone.
One of Rome's greatest contributions to the world was its mastery of engineering and urban planning. The phrase, "all roads lead to Rome," is rooted in fact. Rome built an extensive road network, stretching over 80,000 kilometers, connecting cities across the empire. These roads allowed legions to move swiftly, trade to flow efficiently, and messages to be delivered with remarkable speed. Aqueducts carried clean water from distant mountains into cities, ensuring public health and hygiene. Public baths, sewage systems, and latrines elevated standards of living well beyond what most societies had achieved. Amphitheaters provided entertainment, while temples and basilicas served as spiritual and administrative centers. Roman cities followed a consistent layout: grid streets, central forums, and monumental architecture, promoting unity across regions. Even in distant provinces, a visitor would recognize Roman influence in stone, structure, and symmetry.
The rise of Christianity. Faith reshapes the empire.
For centuries, Rome followed a polytheistic religion. The gods of the Roman pantheon ruled different aspects of life: Jupiter for the skies, Mars for war, Venus for love, and so on. Religion was deeply tied to politics and state rituals. Emperors were often deified after death, and loyalty to the state included reverence for its divine order. But during the 1st century in the Common Era, a new faith emerged from the eastern province of Judea: Christianity. Initially, the Roman authorities viewed it as a dangerous sect. Christians refused to worship the emperor and were accused of disloyalty. They were persecuted, imprisoned, and executed, sometimes in public arenas. Despite this, Christianity continued to grow. Its message of hope, equality, and eternal life resonated with the poor, the enslaved, and the disenfranchised. In the 4th century in the Common Era, Emperor Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, granting Christians freedom of worship. Eventually, under Emperor Theodosius, Christianity became the official religion of the empire. This spiritual transformation changed Rome profoundly. Temples became churches, gods became saints, and a new moral order began to reshape the empire from within.
Decline and division. The end of an era.
Despite its strengths, the Roman Empire was not immune to decline. Internal instability, economic troubles, military overreach, and corruption weakened its foundations. The empire became too large to govern effectively. To cope, it was divided into eastern and western halves in the late 4th century in the Common Era. Meanwhile, external pressures mounted. Germanic tribes, pushed by the movements of the Huns, began to cross into Roman territories. The Visigoths, Vandals, and Ostrogoths attacked and sacked major cities, including Rome itself. In the year 476 in the Common Era, the last Western Roman emperor was deposed. This event marked the end of the Western Roman Empire. However, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, continued for nearly 1,000 more years, centered in Constantinople. It preserved Roman law, Greek culture, and Christian theology, serving as a bridge between antiquity and the medieval world.
The legacy of Rome: law, roads, and ideas.
Rome may have fallen as a political entity, but its spirit never truly died. Its laws form the foundation of modern legal systems in Europe and beyond. Concepts like citizenship, contracts, property rights, and due process trace their origins to Roman jurisprudence. In urban design, Rome's influence remains clear. City grids, public plazas, sewage systems, and transportation networks all reflect Roman principles. Even today, remnants of Roman roads and aqueducts still function or serve as inspiration for new construction. In language, Latin gave rise to the Romance languages: Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian, and influenced scientific, legal, and religious vocabulary across the world. In political thought, the Republic provided models of representative government, checks and balances, and civic duty that inspired modern democracies. Rome's architecture, sculpture, philosophy, and literature continue to shape education and culture today. Its triumphs and its mistakes both serve as lessons for civilizations to come.
Conclusion.
The history of Rome is the story of a civilization built on discipline, law, and vision. From a small settlement by the Tiber River to an empire spanning continents, Rome shaped the world not just through conquest but through structure, thought, and legacy. Its rise was marked by innovation and resilience. Its decline, though tragic, gave way to transformation and continuity through its successors. Even now, Rome endures, in the roads we walk, the laws we follow, the languages we speak, and the ideals we defend. If you found this journey meaningful, do not forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. We will meet again in the next episode.